Welcome, Steve McGourty, to Passos del Camino, to Footsteps on the Way. Welcome to this project within the Camino and to the Camino of St. James of Santiago. Thank you so much for being here with me talking about something special for us. It's really a pleasure. For those who don't know, Steve is it's American pilgrim, and he had walked several caminos, and it's just amazing for me to. It's several. Either way, it's several. Um, but it's really special for me to have the opportunity to talk to you. So, Steve, let's start from the beginning. How you found about the Camino? How you found about how you
Ah,
encountered the Camino?
well, it all kinds of starts back in August of 2013. I used to weigh around 150 kilos, and I had what they call bariatric surgery, and I ended up losing 130 pounds in a year. After I had done that, I needed to do something with my life to show that I had made this change. And I found the Camino Frances and decided to walk that in 2015. Really enjoyed myself. Although what's funny is when I got home, I was pretty convinced I would never do long distance walking again. But within 2 months, I was looking for where I would walk again. So, and eventually that ended up being the Portuguese Camino.
Yeah.
And of course, it was enjoyable too. A very different walk than Camino Frances, that's for sure, but lovely just the same.
Vale, that's amazing. That's amazing. So, what was your first impression of? Did you before the Camino? Did you look into it like very much, or it was more like well, let's buy a ticket, go and go from there?
I
Oh,
go ahead.
oh, what was your first impression when you arrived?
I spent a lot of time researching before I went for the first one. I even, when I was training on the treadmill, would run videos of people walking the Camino. And it actually, at times, I would start crying because, I don't know why. It just happened. And it just drew me in. And of course, the same happened on the Camino itself. There were moments where I just started crying. It was a feeling that an overwhelming emotion that got to me. The most overwhelming time was at Cruz de Ferro, where I've actually made a video of it. And walking up to the Cruz de Ferro, I wasn't expecting anything special. But once I got there, it was just a wave of emotion took me over. And that moment changed my life. There is no question about
That's amazing. That's amazing. Do you know? For me, it was really special when I walked the Primitivo because it was in 2 years ago. It was I don't know that Camino. It has something special on it. It, I don't know. It's really hard. It's really hard. Of course, you have to climb. You have to climb a lot, and the going down, it's even harder. Um, but the beauty of it, the sightseeing, it's outstanding. It's out of the ordinary. It's also like I want to say to you, it kind of the beauty of it, it compensates the hardness of it. And that Camino, I met some fellow pilgrims that are really amazing. It was yeah, all the things, all the things that you can imagine that happened on that Camino. Like I met this. They were from Spain. It was two old guys and one young girl, and we shared the Camino. And it was really really amazing, and I know the some of the moments we are singing together. The the I'm of the joy of and going through all that moments, singing and was really really special. And that time where we're singing that the I'm It was on the border from Asturias to Galicia, and it was one of my best moments on the Camino. So the question is, if you could go back in time and relive again your best moment on the Camino, which moment you choose?
Without a doubt, Cruz de Ferro. It just struck me. Um, Walking up to that hill,
Yeah.
I was joking, laughing, and not expecting anything. But when I got there, it just, like I said, it was like, I've described it as a wave of emotion. It was like when I stood still on the Camino, everybody's emotions just washed over me. And it was a wonderful feeling, a wonderful feeling. I didn't have a moment like that on the Camino Portuguese.
Yeah.
But it was, I was a more experienced hiker, and I'd had my moment.
No, do you know? Of course, I'm Portuguese. I am. I love the Portuguese Camino, mostly from Porto.
Mhm.
It's different than the other Caminos. People can't compare them. You can't compare the Portuguese Camino to the French Camino. Please, if
No.
you go, if you want to compare, of course the French Camino will be better. But it's not it's uncomparable. So you can compare because it's different. It's not the same.
No, I
Um,
agree. I agree.
uh,
I,
please.
the the difference I found on my first Camino versus my second is that I was much more spiritually oriented on my first one. I jumped into every church I saw. I took pictures like crazy. I took, what was it? I think about 12,000 photos.
Oh my God.
And I use this little point and shoot camera,
Yeah.
but I've learned to work it pretty well. And if you were a Facebook friend of me, you would see many of the photos. In fact, I posted one this morning from Portugal, where I've learned to use that camera to come up with some pretty decent results. And I made movies about both. Well, I'm working on the Portuguese, but I did make a series of films about my Santiago, the walk to Santiago. There are 12 films in the series. 11 are about the walk. The 12th one is about the art photography I did on the way, which was totally inspired by the Camino. Well, it was also inspired by Salvador Dali.
Do you talk about Salvador Dali? It's my favorite painter, and
Oh,
and actually he has my favorite paint. My favorite paint is that I can't really remember the name in English. I know in Spanish. That one with the clocks.
yes,
That
yes.
is just please.
Yeah, yeah. I was in Barcelona years ago, and I went to the Modern Art Museum, and I asked one of the guards where I could find some Dali, and he pointed off to this room, and I went over there, and there were two portraits from when Dali was in his teenage years, and they were rather unremarkable. Not what I was looking for.
So let's go ahead. On the Portuguese Camino, do you know? One of the things that I like most on the Portuguese Camino is the hospitality. Let me explain. The of course in Spain, and as a Portuguese I understand that it's harder now more because but it's harder to find someone who speaks English. Let's put it like this way. On the Portuguese Camino, it's easier. It's easy to find someone that can help you.
Yes, yes.
And but the things that I want to know, there's a place in Padron on the last stage before reaching Santiago in Padron. Did you
Mhm.
slept in Padron?
Oh, geez, I remember walking through it, but that was a couple years ago.
So in Padron, there's this magical place where, but no one knows about it. or
Ah,
no, it's not no one, but almost no one, almost no pilgrims knows about it. It's called, of course, the pilgrims. It stays much on that old town, do you know? But
mhm.
there's a place called Santiago del Monte. It's a mountain. You have to climb a bit, and you found. Let me see if I have a picture of it. And you have to climb like 1 kilometer, one stairs, like 1 kilometer stairs, and there's like this magical place there, just outstanding. And the legend says that Saint James has preached the Christianity over there,
Hmm.
and that place, I don't know, it's just amazing, and it kind of makes me sad as the pilgrims not known this place so much. Of course, you have to climb a bit, uh, but it's just so unbelievable. I don't have here, but it's just so unbelievable. And when I am at Santiago, when I'm looking out this amazing cathedral in front of me, there's like I have like this piece, this inner piece, that I just felt this inner piece in two more places. That place, that 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 mountain. It's not a mountain. It's like a big, small chapel with some rocks on it. A image of Saint James there. I felt that over there. And
Mhm.
then, do you know, here in Portugal, of course, there's a really big cult to our Lady of Fatima.
Ah, yes.
Okay, um, and in Galicia there are several places, several churches, or several places that have the same cult to our Lady of Fatima. Um, in Asturias, when I was doing the Primitivo part of it's on Asturias, and the other part on Galicia. And on my first stage on the Primitive Camino, on the middle of nowhere, let me put it like this, on the
Hmm.
middle of nowhere, I found this really small chapel dedicated to Our Lady of Fatima in the middle of a mountain. But it was just so simple, just so simple. This chapel, and I felt that there. And for me, of course, I'm being Portuguese. I can relate to that, But it was
Hmm.
just so. It was a surprise. It was a surprise because I could imagine to find something like this in Galicia. Of course, there are some in Galicia that and last year on the Winter Camino, I passed by one. Even it was like a really church dedicated to Our Lady of Fatima, but a small chapel in the middle of nowhere, when sometimes information are really difficult to arrive. You know, it was really amazing. Let me show you the picture. It's just really amazing. This chapel, I
Oh, yeah.
felt, I felt the same day. And these moments, these surprise moments that place in Padron are 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 places on the Camino that are not so well known, but their significance, that the emblematic thing of it, the emblematic importance of it, are there. Okay,
Hmm.
yeah, it is special for several pilgrims to pass by, like me, pass by here and going up on that other place. So the question is, of course, we have like these mythical places on the French Camino, like you said, the Cruz de Ferro is the most mythical one. The first stage on the Pyrenees, uh, El Alto del Pedrón, O Sobreiro. Okay, these
Mhm.
are really well known and are really special. But there are also several places that are not so known as this one I told you, but they are really special. For you, what was the most amazing not so well-known places that stick out to your head?
The the place that I probably enjoyed the most was Valencia. It just did something for me. That I'm an American. We don't get castles. Valencia has just an amazing castle, and I took an extra day there so I could wander around and get to know and enjoy it. Also, it's just across the river from Spain, as I'm sure you know,
Yeah.
and I was reluctant to leave Portugal. And so I wanted to spend a little bit more time there.
Even with the cobblestones?
With what?
The cobblestones.
Oh God. Cobblestones are tough. There's no question about cobblestones being hard to walk on. I heard a lot of people complaining about Roman roads too. Where you actually see Roman road, where it's the big boulders that are rounded, those are really hard to walk on. But cobblestones are just tough on your knees, your feet. But you have to put up with a few things in order to gain things.
Yeah, definitely.
And I was more than willing to do that. On my San Camino, I was much more, I will admit it, I was much more of a tourist than a spiritual walker. And so I saw a lot of Portugal that I think most pilgrims don't see, because I took the time to wander around and look at places. I have to admit that after 2 years, they're not really sharp on my in my mind. I'm pretty sure I was there.
You were there, yeah.
Yes. And what you were talking about, the people of Portugal being so friendly, it was very appreciated and wonderful to experience. I never felt lost because the arrows were so good in Portugal. I never felt really alone, even though I walked alone, because even though there weren't as many pilgrims, the ones you ran into, I seemed were friendlier. And so it was like I said, it's a very different experience, but it was a very good experience.
Let me tell you about this. These are my friends from two of them were from California, the other one from Seattle, and there were other two from Aurora. Okay, do you know what time it is in Spain at this time? At this the picture, it was 11 a.m. We were drinking beer at 11 a.m. But I have told you this amazing story. In Padron, on the day that we arrived in Padron, it was a Sunday, and on Sunday Padron has like this big market, and the girl beside me, Lori, she was really fast. She walked really fast, and she was the first arriving in the market. Then she arrived on the market, and she stopped and asked for a beer. Okay, in the bar. Then I stopped and asked for another beer. The other girls are coming and ask for a beer. The Canadian ones are coming and ask for a beer. Okay, we are all there sitting down drinking beers. And do you know that the Spanish, if you ask for a beer, if you want to buy a beer, they put it some small plates of chips or something for you to
yes, a tapas of some sort.
Yeah, exactly. So in that time, it was like chicken peas with veal meat or something like that. And I don't like chicken peas, but I just like the meat. So, but the portion of chicken peas was much bigger than the meat.
I must interrupt at this point. I must interrupt. The Portuguese think tapas is like this. The Spanish think it's like this.
That's amazing. So I was there and kind of hungry, and right in front of me, there's like this auto caravan cooking roasted chicken, and roasted chicken was one of my favorite foods ever. It is even more at that time. So I was just thinking to myself, I just want that. I just want that. I just want that. And I comment with Laurie, and Laurie just said to me, but I said, I want some. Go pick it. Go and buy it. Go and buy it. But how? We don't have any plates. We don't have any forks to eat it. How can we go to eat this? Okay. Go, my friend Maureen, this girl over here, my friend Maureen. She has some forks on that, and we put it on the top of these plates. That was really small plates. Then, so I went, I bought the chicken, um, and then I put it in the top of these small plates. So it's like 5 or 6 small plates, and it was on top of it. But Maureen couldn't find the forks.
Mhm.
And in 5 minutes, there's no chicken, roasted chicken. There's no chicken. In 5 minutes, there's no chicken. Do you know we all eat it with our bare hands, of course. But for me, it was kind of surprise because it was a wrong idea of me for that I had at that time, because for me I just thought, okay, they are American, they are staying at hotels and fancy local apartments, and and something like that. They will never eat this by hand. They are Americans. It's impossible for them to eat this by hand. But in 5 minutes, there's but this idea, this wrong idea, it comes down for what are the movies, what are the news that passes from this side of the world. You understand? Of course, over there, after that, they told me that it's nothing like that. But for me, it was a surprise. And I'm looking out for the picture. Where is the picture? Here are them in San. Here we are in Santiago, the 5 of us, 6 of us,
Yeah.
in La Plaza de Praterias. Me arriving in Santiago, raining on the 1st of July. My parents. Where is the picture? Here are the first one. The picture, not. It's from the other side. Let me see. I'll just show the picture because I have it right. Where it is. Here, right here.
Oh my.
That's
Nice. It looks like a feast.
it was just amazing. It's just amazing. So my next question is, what was the best thing about walking the Camino?
After a few days walking the Camino, you enter basically a new world. Everything is slowed down, everything is simplified. You walk, you eat, you sleep, and it is so different from normal life.
Yeah.
And that is the feeling that drew me back to get out there and walk and have time to think without being interrupted by the phone and all this other nonsense. It still draws me. Even though I'm getting up there in years, I got at least one more Camino in me.
Yeah. Now looking back, um, why the Camino? It was so important in your life.
The first Camino, it was a celebration of my having lost so much weight. And so it will forever stand in my mind as an extended celebration. It lasted 6 weeks.
Yeah.
That changed my life. It did change my life. It taught me, one, that you don't need near as much as you think you do to exist. You know, it taught me that, oh, the most wonderful part is that the people you meet from all over the world, you quickly learn that everyone is the same.
Yeah.
And it is so wonderful that they're all so happy. I met one mad person on the Camino. I'm pretty sure he was from Scotland. And we were walking across the Meseta, and it was just pouring down rain and windy and ugly and nasty. And we're all going west, and he's walking east. And you could tell from 50 feet away, he was not a happy guy. And as he walked by me, I said, Buen Camino. And he said, I don't know if you want to hear this, fuck off. And I, whoa,
Really?
yes, yeah. But he was a pilgrim. I talked to some of the people that met him that day as we got to our destination that night. And he, all of us remarked on his attitude. And we were trying to figure out why he was being that way. And our guess is that he probably, either he or one of his wife or something, had left something in the last town, and he had to go back to get it. And on top of having to go back to get it, we were walking with the wind, he was walking into the wind. So the entire time he was walking, the rain was just pelting in his face. So, we tried to figure out what his problem was, but we all just said, that's not.
but you know, that happens because for many pilgrims, the Camino, it's really seen as a metaphor of life, you know. So in life we encounter it, we not just encounter all good people. It just has some bad seeds, some bad persons, and the Camino is like that. Do you understand?
Yeah, I was checking into an albergue one day, and the woman running the place says, no walking sticks in the berthing area where you sleep. And asked her why. And she says, ever since the incident, we have not allowed them in the bedroom. And of course, the incident, what was the incident? She wouldn't tell me, but I found out from another worker there that what had happened was someone had carried their stick into the sleeping room, and that night someone was snoring loudly, and they actually hit them with the stick to wake
Oh my God.
So no more walking sticks in the bedroom.
I guess it isn't Camino without snoring.
Yeah. Well, I was in the Navy for 6 years, and I made a number of cruises where I slept in rooms that are more crowded than anything you experience on the Camino, trust me. Our racks were 3 high, and I slept in a room that was about, perhaps 100 feet across, 50 feet deep, with 300 of my best friends. And, so when I got to the Camino and saw the bunk beds, I was thinking, this ain't that bad.
Yeah. So, Steve, we're almost finishing here, but one last question, okay? So,
Sure.
Two last questions. Okay. So, imagine if something in the world happens, there's something happens by magic, and we have to relive, and every day you have to relive the same day. You have to do every day the same day. And when this magic thing happens, you are on the Camino. So you have to walk every day, every single day, the same stage. Which stage you choose?
Oh my. It would not be Cruz de Ferro. That was a tough day. I'll tell you, the day that I enjoyed the most was actually, it was at the end of a day, but I had run into, on the Portuguese Camino, I'd run into a couple of gentlemen from Italy and some women from Ireland, a couple from Australia. And we were just bumping into each other. We were constantly running into each other. We weren't walking together, but we ended up staying in the same town. And I ran into him that night for dinner. And it just, between walking on the coast and being with these people, I could relive that and not feel too bad about it for quite some time.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So now the last question. So, what advice can you give to a pilgrim that will start the Camino for the first time?
The best advice anyone can get is practice, practice, practice. Make sure you have walked, plan how far you want to walk in a day. For me, on my first Camino, it was 13 miles. And what I did at home is I worked up to walking 13 miles, eventually with my pack. And then I did that 6 days in a row. I knew when I left for the Camino, I could do it. And if you don't do that, you are opening yourself up to blisters. You're opening yourself up to having a pack that you can't handle. Practice, practice, practice. Make sure you know what you're getting into and make sure you're ready for it. Because so many people don't do that, and they are the people that end up stopping midway and not making it.
Yeah, that's
And
amazing.
one of the things I noticed the most is that us old guys, we knew this, we practiced. The young kids, the kids, the teenagers that are out there
They
that are
don't.
invincible, they don't practice at all. They just go walk. They are the first ones to drop out.
So, Steve, we are already finishing here, but thank you so much. And I want you to know if you, for some reason, you go back to Portugal or to Spain or to the Camino, please let me know. I'll be really glad to meet you and to pay you some beers. Thank you so
That,
much.
that can happen. Thank you.